All right. It's Eyes Open Media. Hope you guys are doing well. We're going to talk about a body here in the federal policy to consider the appeal of the budget items introduced by a body. Okay, so we'll talk about this in a second, but Roger did message or did hit me up on Twitter, and he did say that I guess he heard from Walking Stick or something, or he heard something from Walking Stick and because Walking Stick, I guess, is the person that has the employees in Iraq, and he said that Walking Stick was talking about the coins and the lower notes and the ATMs. I did do a tweet yesterday about that. Matter of fact, let me go to my Twitter here if I can. No, I'm not gonna bring up. I don't think I have it. Never mind. Okay, so on my Twitter, if you guys go to my Twitter, Currency365 on Twitter, you'll see that yesterday I did a post about I did a post about the lower notes, the credit, the Mastercard, the oil, the gas, the gold. Excuse me. What else? What else did I do? I said all of this. Iraq is is about to re-enter the international world, right? And so we know this. We got the big meeting coming up with the IMF. So if Walking Stick is talking about the ATMs and the lower notes that are in the ATMs but are not active yet, also I think Roger said that the coins are also going to be that the coins are also in the ATMs. Okay, so I think that's what he said. So more confirmation from a guy that's in Iraq. Okay, that the ATMs are there and that the coins and the lower notes are in the ATMs, okay, and ready to be dispersed once they're activated. They're not activated yet because the World Bank and the IMF have not launched Iraq's economic reforms. Okay, so we have to wait on that. There is a meeting and one of the reasons why they sped this meeting up, because the meeting with the IMF wasn't supposed to happen until the end of August, but now it's supposed to happen in the first week of August. They have it set for August 1st. That doesn't mean it's going to be August 1st, but they do have it set on paper. Eric showed me on paper that it was on August 1st. So this is going to be very interesting to see what happens after this huge meeting, because I don't know if they're going to turn it on. I don't know if they're going to activate the ATM machines and the coins inside and the lower notes that are inside the ATM machines. I don't know if they're going to activate it before the meeting or after the meeting, after the IMF and the World Bank go over the paperwork with them, go over everything with them. And then once they go over every single detail of the dropping of the 3-0 notes and launching the economic reforms, of course, which will launch the private sector and open the bank, the supplementary budget, and all the other things that they need to do. So I think we're probably not going to see the ATMs and the coins and the lower notes until we see this meeting go through. And then we hear from Iraq or the IMF or the World Bank announce that Iraq has launched their economic reforms. Then we should see some type of rate change, and then they will activate the ATMs. Because what's the point of activating the ATMs and the Mastercards if you're still on the program rate? That wouldn't even make sense, right? You're able to disperse the lower notes, and people have the lower notes, but but it's negative value. That doesn't make any sense, right? But the fact that we have a guy in Iraq saying that the ATMs are there, and that the coins and the lower notes are in the ATMs, and that's what we've been saying for a while now. Okay, we said that the lower notes were in the banks, and then they were dispersed to the ATM machines that are not active yet. I think that's what we said a couple months ago, right? So those ATMs can take lower notes. They're not activated yet for use. If they were, we would have seen the Iraqi people with those in their hands. So they cannot get the lower notes and the coins yet because they are not active. The ATMs are not activated, okay? And they won't be activated until Iraq launches their economic reforms, which means they need to change their value. They need to come into a reality rate and a reality value. Okay, so with no restrictions. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for them to launch the economic reforms. Okay, so that's just an update for what's going on in Iraq. What people are seeing is just more confirmation that that's what we were saying a couple of months ago. That the ATMs are there. They have the notes and the coins in the ATMs, and that they're waiting on the economic reforms to launch. They did launch the financial reform, but they're waiting on the economic reforms to launch. Allah told us that a couple of weeks ago that he must launch the economic reforms before the meeting. But then the IMF probably called them and said, "Look, we'll speed the meeting up to the first week of August, so so then we can make sure you're good to go to launch the economic reforms. We don't want you to make a mistake, so we're going to make sure you're good to go to launch the economic reforms." And so they came to DC. They presented it. They presented to them the economic reforms. World Bank's and IMF looking over everything on paper. Okay, Walking Stick tells us that on paper the 3-0 notes are gone, and his company are no longer paying Iraq in anything else but 1-to-1 now going forward. It's going into August. It's going to be 1-to-1 for his employees, and they're all going to most likely everything's going to be done at the banks. They're all forcing them to come to the banks. Then we saw the article that kind of came out yesterday that said that the people are getting paid in two different ways, through electronic and then also through cash. A little bit of cash and electronic. So that matches up with Walking Six said that everybody's being forced to the banks. We'll give them a little bit of cash, but everything else it has to be at the bank. So there it is. So now he's saying that the ATMs have the coins and lower notes in them, but they're not activated yet, and that's good because we don't want to see them activated yet because that wouldn't make sense when Iraq has not launched their economic reforms. So that's where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you guys understand that, and that's that. We're in a good spot. Okay, we're in a good spot to see this. This year. By 1118. Okay. Let's see. Somebody's probably like, man, you said all that to say 1118 again. Look, I'm not gonna say it's gonna happen now. It should happen within the next few weeks, but nothing is guaranteed with Iraq. So I'm gonna say between now and 1118 just to cover myself because that's how long I'm going to be covering Iraq. Okay, so I'm just gonna give that the benefit of the doubt to 1118. Okay, so federal policy, excuse me, to consider the appeal of the budget items introduced by a body. Okay, the Supreme Federal Court has elected 5 new experts to submit a technical report in the appeal field by Prime Minister Abadi. Okay, and some articles in the general budget law for the current year, while the response of 3 constitutional cases for lack of constitutional support for them. Okay, it says that the court held its meeting today and considered a lawsuit concerning the challenges of the prime minister and the condition of his job constitutionally. 23 article of the federal budget law in the current year statement that the parties to the case asks the court to elect 5 experts and may agree on the names put forward by the court in today's session. Okay, let's see here. The court elected 5 indigenous experts and 2 reserves, and decided to invite them on the purpose of task them to prepare a report containing technical aspects of the subject of appeal. Okay, I have no clue what we're talking about here. It has to deal with the federal budget and what's going on. There are some lawsuits. I did talk about this yesterday. About there's several lawsuits that are going on that the federal court has to deal with, and some of the items in the budget that deal with the articles in the budget. Okay, so in addition to new materials and amounts that did not exist in the government projects. Okay, so new financial burdens, phenomenons, and other things like that that are implemented in the budget items. The experts will be charged with preparing the report containing the answers to those variables in the subject of the appeal, and whether some changes can be recommendations as some changes came as recommendations, to the government can overcome and implement through the budget for the coming years. Okay, whole lot of stuff here that they're talking about. It says it would increase. It says the court also inquired about the amounts resulting from these variables and whether it would increase the ceiling of the total amounts of the federal budget for the year 2017. Okay, there's a lot of things they have to do here. They did pass the supplementary budget, but now they got to go to court to deal with some of these items in the budget. Okay, so I'm not sure if this is going to be taken as a delay for the monetary reform. I don't know, because if you can't deal with these things that are in the budget, then you can't open the budget properly. Now of course they can always launch the supplementary budget and still deal with the federal budget, right? So that's why they did the amendment supplementary budget. So they could open a supplementary budget without still while dealing with all these things in the federal budget, because there's two different budgets, right? There's the amendment budget and then there's the federal budget. So they can still do all that. So we'll see if they speed this up, as quick as possible and get this all done in a speedy way. Let me see here. It says here that the appeals board complies with Article 100 of the Constitution and does not violate it. Okay. And we see Article 100 of the Constitution did not provide the restricting of the appeal of administrative action, the decisions before the judiciary exclusively, but it stated a general constitutional principle. Okay. Whole bunch of budget stuff. Article 60 here. It says in a statement that the court found that the plaintiff to serve as the head of the media and communication agency and was questioned in accordance with the constitutional principles as the head of the independence agency based on the provisions of Article 60. Okay. Says the federal. Damn, this is a lot. Says the federal court also considered a lawsuit set up by the chairman of the board of commissioners. Then he added that the court found through the explanatory regulations that the integration of provided it was provided in accordance with the constitutional principles in accordance with the provisions of Article 61 of the Constitution of the plaintiff. Okay, he explained that the 252 deputies came to the session of the vote, 119 deputies not to be satisfied with the answers plaintiff in return for 118 convictions, while 15 abstained from voting for either side of the two teams. Okay. Just a whole bunch of gobble, 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 gobble. We have to let's see. Let's hopefully this all ends soon with the budget, federal budget, because I don't know if this affects us from unlock from launching the economic reforms if you still are dealing with the budget items. Okay, so the federal policy to consider the appeal of budget items introduced by a body. Now, why would a body be introducing these budget items at this time, knowing a lock is about to launch the economic reforms, and this could hold up the economic reforms if you have to launch the budget, but you're holding up items when the budget law tells me once again, if this is the case, then we know a body continues to do the things that make me scratch my head and say, why would a body be holding up the items in the budget or holding or bringing all these new things up in the budget, knowing a lock is ready to open the budget and release the economic reforms? A body might be doing this on purpose, or a body, or these are items that were done by a body 3 months ago, and the federal court is delaying it on purpose so a lock can't open, so they can't open the budget and release the economic reforms. Okay, so it might be one of the two, or it might be none. It might just be that these are items in the budget that need to be done, and it has zero effect on a lot in the supplementary budget, and maybe this is the reason why the IMF told them to pass a supplementary budget, so that even if they're dealing with the items in the federal budget, the supplementary budget can go ahead with the economic reforms. So that might have been smart, and I think that could be it as well. There's 3 different possibilities there. If you have a different possibility, if you have a different way, comment below on Currency 365 Facebook page. I will post this video there, and you guys can comment there and let me know what you guys think. What's your think about this hold up on the budget items, and do you think it has effect with the economic reforms? For Alok, it doesn't look like Alok is having a good time, and he's laughing and enjoying himself lately. So he might be done with his part. He's independent to this crap. So and they already passed the amended supplementary budget, so they can actually open that up and give us the ATMs and the credit cards, the lower notes and the coins and the gold and all the things that they're going to be giving us in the ATM machines. And also they can also launch the borders, open the borders with Saudi, open the airways with Saudi and all the other Arab countries, open the world up, and they can remove those restrictions on that currency and give us the new true rate, international currency rate, 1-to-1 in country, out of country, 1+. Okay, so yeah, so that's we know that the new pictures in the CBI are probably most likely the lower notes, and they're showing off the lower notes pictures because they know the lower notes are coming. They already are in the ATM machines. They're already in the banks, and they're just waiting for a lock in the CBI and the IMF and the World Bank and the BIS and the United Nations to lift the restrictions and bring those things out and launch the economic reforms. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I'll talk to you guys a little bit later. I will be doing a video on the main channel. This one will be out before the main channel video, so I'll post this one first on Facebook, then I'll post the main channel Iraq video on Facebook a couple of hours later. Okay, so peace out and God bless and eyes open. And yes, I did see Donald Trump restricting or banning the transgendered. I'm not gonna do a video on it, but I did see it. And what Donald Trump is trying to do is Donald Trump is trying to not allow 100,000 people that are confused, all right, or transgender or don't know who they are, right, to come into the military, affect the military, and basically bankrupt the military by then getting cosmetic surgeries or surgeries on their private parts, or have to have thousands of dollars worth of medications for hormones and all that. He's not trying to allow these people to come into the military just to get that stuff for free and bankrupt the military. So those people that have a problem with it, they don't understand economics. And this is the problem with the whole entire world. We even have this problem in with people that don't that say Iraq is a scam or this and that. It's because they don't know anything about economics. They don't know patterns, they don't know history, and they don't know economics. So when you see 40,000 people trying to sign up for the military and they're transgender, and that's a problem, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to go in there and get free surgery, free cosmetics, free medication, hormone pills, all this. They're trying to get everything for free, and they're trying to bankrupt your own military. And what that would do is that then that would weaken us tremendously, and that would allow Russia and China and the Eastern world like Iran and Cuba and other countries waiting to invade America and take down America. That would give them the access that they need to come in and get that done as quick as possible. So what's going on is that Satan and the New World Order and these evil people are tricking these poor confused people, and they're telling them to sign up for the military so you can get these free things. And Donald Trump and his crew, and also the heads of the military, the generals and the admirals, are seeing this, and they're saying we need to stop this immediately, because we're about to have a flood of about 100,000 transgendered into the military, and they're only there not to serve the country, but to use and abuse the military system and bankrupt the military by free medication and cosmetics and surgeries and all this stuff. And it would bankrupt the military, and we will not be able to protect our citizens, and then we would be attacked and invaded by countries who hate our guts, knowing this. So the fact that Donald Trump banned this, and it's a great thing, because we would be you don't think that Russia and China and Iran are watching this closely? They know that if this took place, it would bankrupt our country military, and we would be in grave danger of being invaded. So Donald Trump stopped that immediately, and he's giving us more time. Okay, he's giving us time. God is giving us time. I keep telling you guys that we're in a grace period right now of time before all things go bad. Very, very bad for us. We're in a time where we need to store and build and create wealth for ourselves and our family, and then get out of Dodge way. Get out of the cities. Get out of this the populated areas. Get into the royal suburb areas, and make sure your family's with you, and you have your gold and silver and funds and your cryptos, and you have offline wallets, and that you are in a safe position to farm, and you are able to grow your own crops and vegetables and stuff like that, and you prepare yourself for what's coming, because you can see that the New World Order and the Satanists are on a rampage to speed things up and to corrupt the entire world, and they really need America to fall to do this. And so you got people that have no clue what this is all about. They're outraged, but they're outraged for no reason. They're outraged because they think Donald Trump is harming and hurting these people, but in fact, he's looking out for the military and for America, because if these people are able to come in droves and do this, it would bankrupt our country, and we will be attacked by Russia and China and others that hate our guts, and invade it quickly, because we would be so crumbled militarily wise, and we would be in so much debt military wise, we wouldn't be able to pay our forces or anything, and we would be in big danger. And so these people have no clue about that. All they care about is for their friend that doesn't know who he is or she is, to get the surgery and all this stuff, and to send them to hellfire. They have no clue. They're so blinded by the truth, and it's sad. And we just pray for these people. We just pray that every single person knows the truth, and we come into the light of the truth, and we just and we just walk in the truth, in the light. Okay, so that's it. Peace out. Eyes open. I wanted to make sure that I got off my chest, because I didn't want to do a video on it, but I did want to get off my chest. But yeah, so anyways, that's it. I'll talk to you guys later. Eyes open.